In the shadowed labyrinth of the Underdark, where darkness clings like a second skin and survival often demands ruthless cunning, two unlikely souls found their destinies entwined. Thandir Starflower, a drow ranger born into a family famed for its cold ambition, carried a heart that pulsed with compassion, a rarity in his ruthless world. Bluebell Glowspire, a deep gnome once bound by the chains of her father's illicit dealings, fled into the darkness, seeking freedom and a chance at redemption. Their paths crossed in a fleeting moment long ago, a meeting marked not by schemes or shadows, but by a spark of hope amid the gloom. Years later, fate summoned them once more, drawing them into the embrace of a fellowship unlike any other. Alongside Desirel Cloudwalker, the ethereal Air Genasi dancer turned enigmatic sorceress of shadow and wishes, Flick Frogsplash, the introspective grung rogue walking the delicate line between spirit and flesh, and Typhoon Tempest, the wizard born of storm and sea, whose magic crackled with the wild power of the elements. They formed a band known simply as the Verdant Horizon. Their story began in the aftermath of a growing threat beneath the surface world, a coalition of aberrations, twisted creatures born of chaos and corruption, whose influence seeped like poison into both Underdark and surface realms. These horrors did not heed the petty feuds of dark elf houses or the fragile politics of deep gnomes. They represented a darkness beyond darkness, an existential peril that demanded unity. Thandir, once a master of blackmail and manipulation, had long since shed his old ways. His uncle's whispered teachings of light and kindness had planted seeds of change, and his ranger's path was one of quiet rebellion. He tended a hidden garden of surface plants in the Underdark, a living symbol of hope growing in defiance of despair. When Bluebell re-entered his life, her fierce resolve and battle-hardened spirit rekindled memories of that first night, her trembling form illuminated by his dancing lights as they escaped together from the snares of her father's downfall. Bluebell's journey from a shadowy fence to a disciplined fighter was marked by trials that tested her resolve. Each encounter with old allies and enemies forced her to reckon with the shadows she once embraced. Yet, her pledge to protect others, to intercept harm before it could strike, made her a stalwart defender of the innocent. Her intimate knowledge of the Underdark's twisting passages and treacherous politics was invaluable to the group. Desirel's presence was a haunting melody woven through the party's tale. Once a celebrated dancer in a sultan's palace, she had been cast out by jealousy and intrigue, her life extinguished only to be reborn as a spectral sorceress whose wish-granting magic was as unpredictable as it was potent. Partnered with Danny Riverleaf, a halfling tinkerer attuned to spectral energies, Desirel sought redemption through the chaotic gifts she bestowed. Her ethereal grace and shadowy powers added a layer of mystique and unpredictable aid to the Fellowship. Flick Frogsplash, the grung rogue, embodied the tension between tradition and transformation. Raised in a temple devoted to Ukuna, he had embraced the spectral whispers of the unseen world, becoming a phantom rogue whose every step was guided by spirits and shadows. His quest for balance between the physical and spiritual realms often set him apart from his people, but his unwavering commitment to justice made him a guardian of fragile equilibrium. Typhoon Tempest, born amid roaring storms and nurtured by a solitary sage, was the elemental force that bound the group's magic. Her mastery of evocation, weaving thunder and lightning into spells, mirrored the tempestuous nature of her spirit. Her journey from isolated hermit to wandering wizard was driven by a desire to understand the harmony between elemental forces and mortal lives. Together, the Verdant Horizon ventured into the darkest reaches of the Underdark and beyond, confronting the aberrations whose malevolent influence threatened to unravel the fragile balance of the world. Their mission was not just combat but healing, mending the fractures between light and shadow, surface and abyss, past mistakes and future hope. In one pivotal confrontation, the party faced a grotesque aberration that had ensnared a deep gnome settlement in its nightmarish grasp. Bluebell's knowledge of the Underdark's secret roots allowed the group to infiltrate the lair undetected. Thandir's arrows, guided by his keen ranger's eye and the wisdom of his uncle's adages, struck true. Desirel's wishes, though perilous, twisted fate enough to turn the tide. while Flick's spectral steps sowed confusion among the aberration's minions. Typhoon's storm magic crackled and roared, shattering the creature's hold. Through their trials, Bluebell and Thandir often recalled their first meeting, the night he chose hope over manipulation, compassion over cunning. That choice had sparked a flame that now burned brighter in the unity of their fellowship. Their journey was not without sacrifice or uncertainty. Each member wrestled with their inner demons and the ghosts of their pasts. Yet, in the shared purpose of the Verdant Horizon, they found strength. Together, they nurtured a beacon of light amid the darkness, a promise that even in the deepest shadows, hope could take root and flourish. As they moved forward, their legend grew, not merely as warriors or magic wielders, but as guardians of balance, champions of redemption, and bearers of a new dawn in a world long shrouded in twilight. Theirs was a story of transformation, friendship forged in adversity, and the enduring power of light nurtured in the heart of darkness.